Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. This is your tarot reading for the week ahead. A real mixed bag. Lots of mixed bags coming out for all of the zodiac signs this week. Big themes. You've got 4 major arcana showing big shifts, big changes, lots of influences from the universe coming through, and only 1 minor arcana. So of all the tarot spreads that I've done thus far, you've got the most major arcana. So be prepared for big insights, big shifts, and big ideas coming through. It's going to be really important for you to surrender to the bigger plan. As I lay the cards down, you've got the Justice and the Hierophant sitting there, looking down from the kind of clouds above. So who do we look for spiritual sustenance, guidance? How is our connection with the universe in general? Are we getting caught in the nitty-gritty of the quotidian demands of life, with paying bills, with going to work, with watching television, all of that stuff? Very much represented in the 8 of Swords here with the blindfold. The Lord of Shortened Force sometimes can feel like we're in a bit of a mental prison and we don't know the way out. It may feel this week that you're in a bit of a maze and you don't quite know the exit sign, you don't know where you are in that maze even. Are you right at the start? Are you right near the ending? Has it felt like you've been in that maze for ages? So again, it's really important that we're asking for external assistance. And external assistance isn't necessarily about your friends, your family, though of course that can be a helpful resource. This is more spiritual assistance. So are we doing things like praying? Are we doing our manifestation? Are we doing our reflection? Are we doing our meditation? What are we doing in order to develop and cultivate that sense? Also, with the Star, you've got a time of lots of healing, lots of reflection to be done as well. Again, the Star can often represent our long-term goals too. What are we wishing for ourselves? As Sagittarians, you often aim high, which is great and enables you to kind of reach and accomplish great things, big things. But in that process, we can sometimes get lost or frustrated. And again, my guide keeps showing me this image of the maze and the string and the labyrinth and going through and finding your way back and forth. So what are we doing in order to keep ourselves on the track so that we're just wandering around aimlessly within this maze, just feeling frustrated? Because again, you have the devil here, and the devil almost in this reading seems to keep wanting to tempt you into this place of disillusionment, into despair, into frustration, and this disconnection. Also, the devil represents the material world. So in combination with that 8 of Swords, just as I was saying before, are we spending a little bit too much time on what we can gain, what we can achieve? Are we looking too much in the worldly sense for a sense of accomplishment, a sense of achievement, a sense of reassurance? Or are we looking at the bigger picture? Are we also allowing ourselves to embody and channel virtues, the virtues of grace and patience and compassion? Or are we giving into, much like the devil represents, our base desires? Are we wanting instant gratification on things? Are we just looking for the quick fix or the quick answer? Because if anyone knows about patience, about how long it sometimes takes in order to achieve these highest ideals and these highest goals, it is the star card. She knows that jugful by jugful, she needs to fill the lake. Jugful by jugful, she needs to tender to the crops that she's trying to grow. There is no quick answer. There is no quick response to this. You may find as well that you're hitting some red tape with the Justice card, again, in combination with the 8 of Swords. So bureaucracy, there's lots of form filling. Are there seemingly things that, there's another delay, a bureaucratic delay, just lots and lots of red tape, and the things that we're trying to move forward with, the things that we're excited by, the things that we're trying to achieve, hitting not necessarily roadblocks, but delays, hitting kind of things that are setting us back, or things that are having to pull us away out of necessity. It's a bit like, as annoying as it is filling out forms, they have to be done. So you may find that that kind of comes through quite a lot. And the more that we're getting delayed and frustrated by these things, the more we may very well lose sight of what it is we're aiming for in the longer term. And that is why it's so essential that we keep connecting with the Hierophant energy, the Hierophant representing that spiritual leader. So that can be our guides. Are we connecting with our guides? Are we asking our guides for assistance? Are we asking the universe for assistance? Or are we just trying to do it alone? But it also might be a spiritual teacher, a spiritual leader, anybody to whom you can go to for spiritual counsel. And if you're thinking, what on earth is spiritual counsel? There's probably a sign that you really need it even more. But again, it's that person that is going to unable to put a context on things in a spiritual, through a spiritual lens. So again, are we reading books that we find inspiring? Are we watching videos that we find inspiring? But particularly on this soul nurturing sense, there's likely to be some soul searching going on. And again, that can be a little bit uncomfortable, but that is absolutely the right course of action here. Again, I keep having the devil that's slightly on my shoulder, keeps whispering in my ear and saying, nah, don't bother. It's too much hard work. Just carry on. What's the point anyway? It doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't lead to any kind of great happiness. And again, we slightly have to brush that devil off our shoulder and ignore it. So again, it's about looking at any bad habits that you might picked up on. And again, these don't have to be anything dire. They don't have to be any great vices at all. But just that very subtle self-sabotage that can occasionally happen, where I know I should do that thing, but I can't be bothered. I'll do it tomorrow. Or we kind of eat that thing that we know is not very good for them. All those little very subtle things that start to creep in. And again, cumulatively, if we allow all of these little vices to stack up, then it starts to impede our sense of being able to move forward through leaps and bounds. But again, with that combination of the Hierophant and the Star, not all is not lost. Nothing is actually dire. It may just be calling you to really, it's about faith. It's about a deeper sense of faith. So how is your faith at the moment? And again, that doesn't necessarily have to be in any religious canon. That's not what I mean. But how is your sense of it's going to be fine? It's going to, there are brighter days ahead. Faith isn't about just getting what we want. It's believing that even in the hardest times and the most frustrating times, things will correct themselves. And there is a real sense that they will. But again, it's like not giving in to that self-doubt, not giving in to those niggles of, disillusionment and despondency are, you're bound to fail if they're starting to creep up. So if they're in your mind at the moment, if they're in your mind, body and soul at the moment, the best thing you can do is give yourself a good talking to and say, right, that's it. That's not helping me. That's not serving me. What do I need in order to bring that into healing? What do I need to bring that back into balance? And again, asking for external assistance from the universe, from our guides, from God, whatever it is that you believe in and the higher powers to be, allow them to assist. This might not be a time where you feel that you're in the driving seat, that you have got your hands on the rail and that you're calling all the shots. And for a lot of us, that can feel quite uncomfortable and quite challenging at times. So just have faith, trust, believe, just go, okay, I'm happy to just take a little sit back. I'm happy to know that they're in control and they'll steer me right. And the more that we're able to do that, the less we feel like we're kind of fighting against the tide, so to speak. And please, 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 don't distract yourself in the material world. So as much as you might want to go on that big shopping spree, make sure that it isn't about distracting yourselves from other demands or other uncomfortable feelings. Okay, hope that helps. Thank you so much and see you next week. Bye for now.